Hi guys, why do I have to do this? I'm not a freaking journalist. Talk TV have journalists. They have people paid significant salaries to hold politicians to account, to hold their feet to the fire. But it seems that whenever somebody from Reform UK appears on it, they're pandered to, their belly is tickled. So Sarah Pochin, a former Tory turned Reform UK, was on Talk TV talking about immigration and of course misleading the public. And you saw zero pushback from a so-called journalist, a journalist who's supposed to ask difficult questions to inform the public. Have a listen to this.
Last time we all looked, France was a safe country.
Yeah.
Why aren't they staying there? And I go back.
Okay, it's not... They're not staying in France because they don't want to stay in France. This point about France being a safe country, there's no obligation on asylum seekers to claim asylum in France. They don't want to stay in France. And this thing of... The way it's presented is as if it's French people coming from France to claim asylum in Britain. Well, France is safe. Why don't they stay in France? No, there's no obligation on them to stay in France. They want to get to Britain. Why is this so difficult? See, here's the problem. This is misinformation. But unfortunately, there's no pushback because this is Talk TV.
Back to what I said before, they're coming here because we are a soft touch with our benefit system. They get a house, they get money in their pocket, they get free dental appointments, free GP appointments. We all know the list now, ever increasing and shocking.
Okay. Why didn't the journalist ask the question, why are they receiving free stuff? Obviously, they're not getting a house. You don't get a house. You're moved into an ex-hotel, or you may be moved temporarily into rented accommodation, but you don't get a house. It's not your house. But of course, there's no pushback here. Why is there no pushback? I don't want to put words in this guy's mouth, but I presume it's because he agrees with her, because she's brought on not to be challenged, but to be provided a platform that Talk TV agree with. So he could easily ask, why, in your opinion, are they receiving these free items, these gifts, these benefits? Well, it's because they're not allowed to work. If they were allowed to work, then there'd be no need to give them free food, to give them free dental care, to give them free stuff. If they were able to work, they would pay their way. But of course, there's no pushback.
Zoo tickets, cinema tickets, you name it, they're getting it.
What would you say to Brighton Council?
Well, you know what, if they want them, you take them then. Because I tell you what, in the Northwest we've had enough, and let's move them all down to Brighton if you want them.
Okay, I think this is what we're going to see if Reform get into power. They're going to take asylum seekers and move them to areas of the country that did not vote for Reform. This is like a copying and pasting of what the Republicans in the US are doing. What the Republicans were doing was they were busing people, asylum seekers, refugees, immigrants, from Republican backing states like Texas to Democratic backing states or Democrat backing cities. And they were literally dumping people in areas. So the buses would arrive, the asylum seekers were kicked off and left there. And Democratic mayors, Democratic governors were left to pick up the pieces. And the Republicans didn't care about the consequences. They actually wanted this to happen because what it would do is it would create tension in the Democratic-run city or the Democratic-run state, and this would encourage more people to vote for the Republican Party because the Republicans would say, oh, look at all these immigrants in your city, and what is the governor or what is the mayor doing about it? This was a plan to take asylum seekers and immigrants from the border and dump them in Democratic backing constituencies. And this is, I think, what you're going to see if Reform UK get into power. What they're going to do is they're going to take asylum seekers and fill hotels or whatever in areas that are voting for the Labour Party or voting for other opposition parties. This is if Reform UK get in. This is what they will do. They will abandon the idea of spreading asylum seekers. Look, Reform keep talking about, oh, we'll just send them back. No, you send people back where? If you want to send people back to France, you have to have an agreement with France. If you want to send people back to Afghanistan, you need to have agreements with the Taliban. So obviously they're not going to get these agreements. So what are they going to do? They're going to probably put asylum seekers in constituencies that are not voting for Reform UK in order to create tension, just like the Republican Party did in the US, in order to convince people, well, you need to vote for Reform. If you vote for Reform, we'll close these hotels, we'll kick these asylum seekers out. I think this is what we're going to see if Reform get into power. They're not interested in resolving problems. They're interested in weaponizing issues to benefit themselves. But this needs to be called out. Why am I calling it out? And why is a guy who's supposed to be a journalist not doing so? Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.